Well, y'all are here right on time. Dinner is just about ready, and I have made my chuck wagon chili. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you are new here, welcome in. If you are a returner, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for chuck wagon chili. So this recipe, I've made chili several different ways, and in my description box below, I'll put a link to my family dinners playlist, and you'll find some of my other chili recipes there. But today we're going to be making chuck wagon chili. I'm going to share with you how I make it. So first I'm using a yellow onion. I'm chopping, it was a pretty large onion, so I only used about half of it. And it's going to give me about 1.5 up to 2 cups of the chopped yellow onion. Now, when it comes to my onion, I like to chop them about this size, about the size of a dime, but no bigger than the size of a nickel. Now, for those of you who have been following my channel for a while, you know that when I share a recipe, I get pretty detailed, and that's just a habit that I picked up from my mother, and that's because giving someone the ingredients to a recipe is one thing, but telling them the small details and the ins and outs to how to make the recipe come out right, I feel is so very important. And I feel like that's how recipes were meant to get passed down throughout the years. So I went on and I chopped up my garlic. That was 2 cloves of garlic that I went on and I minced. We put that aside. Now I have one large, this is a pretty large size, about maybe 4 inches, 3 to 4 inches. This is a jalapeno pepper. It's a fresh one. I'm going to just take out a little bit of the membrane, but I'm going to leave the majority of the seeds. And so I'm just going to go ahead and chop this. The jalapeno pepper is going to give it a nice background flavor, but it's not actually, this is a mild jalapeno pepper, so it's not going to give a lot of spice. Now, if you want to make your chili spicy and you want to really give it a kick, you can use some red pepper flakes, about a 1 teaspoon up to 2 teaspoons, depending on how spicy. Or if you want to use some fresh peppers, you can use a Serrano Chile. A Serrano Chile is going to be much spicier than and much hotter in heat level than a jalapeno pepper. So next I have my chunk of stew meat. This is beef stew meat, and this is the chuck roast beef stew meat, and this is 2 pounds that I have. Now, something I like to do is use my kitchen shears, and any of the big pieces of the stew meat, I go ahead and I just cut those in half. Some of them need cutting in half, some of them don't, but I wanted just a little bit more of a bite-sized piece. I don't want like a big chunks. Now, you're definitely welcome to leave yours in bigger chunks if that's what you prefer. I just like to kind of cut mine just a little bit smaller. After I'm done, I go ahead and I rinse my meat in some cold water. I pat dry the excess water, and then we're seasoning it up with some kosher salt. This is coarse kosher salt, and I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons to season my meat. Now, if you don't have any kosher salt on hand, you can use regular table salt. With the regular table salt, 1/2 teaspoon will do. And we're going to use some fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to do about 1/4 teaspoon of my fresh pepper. If you have pepper that you have in the canister, about 1/4 teaspoon, maybe a little bit less than that. Now, once I've seasoned my meat, I'm going to wash my hands up real quick. I'm going to show you what I like to do that's going to help to thicken up our chili. So I'm going to be using some flour. This is just regular all-purpose flour, and we're going to be putting our pieces of meat a little bit at a time. So you don't want to put all your meat in your bag at one time. You want to do it a little bit at a time. Make sure it's nice and coated. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll meet y'all over at the stove. In my pot, I put a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil. I let it get hot, and I'm putting in my meat in batches. We're going to sear off our meat just to give it a little bit of a brown coating on the sides. Now, with this step, you're going to be adding additional vegetable oil as need be as you're searing your meat. We're going to be building up some fond in the bottom of our pot, and when I'm browning the meat, I'm also more so focusing on the larger edges of the meat, not necessarily around the corners and the sides. That will continue to cook when we get our chili going. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up these batches. Now, once I've gone on and I've seared up all the meat, then I add in the onion that we had chopped, and you see we're going to have a good amount of fond, those brown bits that are in the bottom. Now right now I have my flame on a low because we do want those brown bits, but we want to be mindful that we don't want them to burn or get overly brown, okay? And we're going to be lifting up all that fond once we put in all the rest of our ingredients. So I go ahead, I put in the onion, I sauteed that just a little bit, and then I also added in the jalapenos that we chopped. If you're using the jalapenos, this is when you want to add them. Then next I added in my 2 cloves of chopped garlic. We're going to just move that around a bit. And then we're going to add in some tomato paste. The tomato paste gives our chili a nice, deep, rich, wonderful flavor. And so we're using 1 7-ounce can of tomato paste. Now once we put in our tomato paste, we're going to start to mix the tomato paste with those veggies that we have in there. Some of our fond and our brown bits will start to lift up with the tomato paste. So what I want to do at this point is to really get the onion, the garlic, and the peppers really mixed in and covered in that tomato paste. And then once I have it covered in the tomato paste, I'm gonna let it start to simmer and just kind of loosen up a bit. Our tomato paste, as it simmers, it'll also loosen up. It'll also help to lift up some more of that fond. And while I'm doing this, I still have my flame is on low. And as you see, we have lifted up our fond. It is looking good. We're gonna put now a cup of water. And when I put the cup of water in, I put in about 1/3 of the cup of water at a time. So I'm using 1 cup of water. I put in 1/3 of it. I mix everything around. I put in 1/3, and then I put in that final third. And I just keep going around the edges, scraping up those little bits and making it all part of that nice base that we are building for our chuck wagon chili. It is looking good. We're going to let this simmer. I'm going to raise my fire from a low to a medium low. I'm going to go ahead and let this simmer for about another 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes, and let it simmer so that way our onions can really start to soften up even more. It has been about 5 minutes or so. It is looking good. It is smelling good. We have really built up a really nice base for our chili. I go ahead, I add in my meat, and then I'm going to add in some cans of diced tomato. I'm adding in 2 cans of diced tomato and 1 can of Petite diced tomato. Oh, and these are all actually 14.5 ounce can of the tomatoes that I have. And then we're going to add in some beans. My family likes pinto beans in their chili, but you can also use kidney beans in your chili. So I'm using 2 15-ounce can of pinto beans, and I use the entire cans, including the liquid that comes in the can. Now you can drain them if you like, but I actually prefer that extra richness that comes from using the entire can. But again, if you like to drain your beans, you can definitely do that. I go ahead and I stir my ingredients together well. I want to go ahead and blend everything together before I add in my spices. Now in the description box below, which is underneath the title of the video, when you click on where it says more or maybe show more, you'll have under there the description box, and there I will have a list of ingredients for your reference. So once I've gone on and I've mixed my ingredients in, I'm going to add in those spices that I was talking about. So we're going to add in some chili powder. And we're going to be using 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Now the one that I showed you is the brand that I'm using. You could use that brand, or you could use whatever you have on hand or whatever you find in your market, but you want to use 2 tablespoons of chili powder. And then next we're going to use some cumin, and I'm using 2 teaspoons of cumin. Now cumin is that traditional spice that you find in chili, that traditional flavor. Now with the cumin, you can use either 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoons. I like to use 2 teaspoons when I make my chili, but use 1 teaspoon and then go ahead and mix and then taste it, see how it tastes. But as we know, chili really develops over time and over that simmering, and I really do find those 2 teaspoons are nice, but you're more than welcome to use 1 teaspoon, depending on your taste for cumin. And the pot that I'm using is a 6.5 quart size pot. This is going to be enough chili for about 8 people, about 8 to 10 people, just kind of depending on how much you're going to serve. But it is plenty of chili. We always have plenty of chili for our family. We're a family of 5. We always end up with plenty of chili, and we always have chili actually left over the next day, and we'll take it to lunch and stuff. And so our chili is looking good. It's simmering, and it has simmered at this point for 1 hour, and our chili will simmer for 1.5 hours up to 2 hours because we want our meat to become nice and tender. And so you want your pieces of stew meat in there to become nice and tender, and that's going to happen between 1.5 hours up to 2 hours. And so our chili is almost there. It's been about an hour now. I'm going to put the top back on my pot, and then I'm going to make some corn muffins. Now, a subscriber had asked me how I make my corn muffins come out how they did. And I said I use Jiffy when I'm, wanting to just make a quick corn muffin to go with dinner. Now, I do have a homemade cornbread recipe from scratch, and if you'd like to make the homemade cornbread recipe, I'll put a link in the description box below if you'd like to check out that blog. Now, for the Jiffy, I do a couple things. One is I follow directions on the back of the package. However, what I do is once I empty it out, you see how I like to break up the little clumps, that are in there. I like to break those up a bit, and then I like to make sure that I'm using a egg that's at room temperature. Now, you see I put my egg in some water, and I do that if I haven't taken my egg out ahead of time and I want my egg to be at room temperature. All you need to do is just get a bowl, fill your bowl with warm water, not hot water, but warm water. Let your egg sit in there for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that will help to bring your egg up to room temperature. And so I have my one egg at room temperature. That's one thing that I do to make my muffins come out really nice. Then I go ahead and I beat my egg first before I add it to the mix. Now, once I've beaten my egg and I've added that to the Jiffy mix, then I'm going to follow the directions and use my milk. Either I use whole milk or 2% milk. My milk, I also have the milk at room temperature. And so with my milk, I just went on and I microwaved it just for, a couple seconds. Not hot, but just to kind of get it where it's not ice cold from the fridge. I use my whisk and I whisk around the Jiffy mix with my milk and my room temperature egg. So I whisk that pretty good. I don't over mix it. You will have maybe a little clumps here and there, but you don't want to over mix your batter. So I go ahead and I mix that and I use my whisk. It's looking like this, and so it's going to have a little bit of thickness to it, and that's what you're looking for. You don't want it to be watery at all. I'm going to put a generous amount of this spray right here. I'm going to put a generous amount of spray inside my muffin tin, and we're going to make 6 because this box makes 6, so we're going to be making 6. And then also something else, that if you don't have any spray like I'm using, you can also use softened butter. But when you're using the softened butter, you want to make sure that you put a nice amount of the softened butter in there. Make sure you get the sides and the bottom really well. So once I've put a generous amount of the spray, I'm using my scooper here. This is actually my measuring cup. And this is 1/4 of a cup, measuring cup that I'm using. And I do that so that way I can get nice, even muffins in my tin. And so I go through, each one's going to go up about 2/3 of a way up the side of the muffin tin. Then what I do is I'm going to have just a little bit of that batter left. And you see how I top them? I give everyone a little bit of a crown. That's because as it bakes and it bakes up, I'm going to get that much more lift and that much more height out of my muffin. Now, I was doing this, my oven was preheating on 400 degrees, and you do want to make sure that your oven is nice and hot and on that 400 degrees before you put your muffins in. Well, they have baked up nicely. The box says it takes 15 to 20 minutes. I check mine at about 12 minutes just to see how they're baking up. My muffins baked up for 15 minutes. This is what they're looking like. Our chili is just about done now. I went on and I turned it off. I'm going to put our muffins to the side so they can go ahead and cool. I'm going to go ahead and check on our chili. I turned it off. Let's see what it's looking like. Oh, it is looking so good. And it is smelling so good. You can just smell all those wonderful spices. And so throughout, while your chili is cooking, after you've gotten to that 1 hour, I did taste the chili to see how it was for seasoning. If you want to add some more salt, more pepper, you can definitely go ahead and season it up to your liking. While I've served this up, a bowl of chili, I like to use a butter knife to just pop my muffins out. I go to each side and they should just gently lift out just like that. nice and easy, and that's because I made sure that I sprayed them very liberally, as well as if you're going to butter them, you want to butter them well. They come out nice, beautiful golden brown. They're going to go perfect with our nice rich chili. You can also serve your chili with crusty bread, or you can serve it with a side of white rice, or you can also serve it with crackers. And so this is our chili right here. This bite's for you. I'm going to give y'all the first bite. Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite and see how we did today. This comes out so good. My family has always enjoyed a good bowl of chili. It is hearty, it is nice and rich. And to go with these muffins right here, our muffins have come out so good. It just matches with the chili so perfectly. Well, this is how I make my nice and hearty chuck wagon chili. Well, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me in my kitchen. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.